Empty space. Empty space is the simplest idea of nothing that people imagine. It describes a place where there are no visible objects, such as matter, dust, or gas. In everyday life, we think of empty space as the air between things or the open distance inside a room. In reality, even this type of nothing is not completely empty. Air molecules, light, and energy still move through it. The concept of empty space helps people understand the difference between objects and the area surrounding them, but scientifically, it is rarely truly empty. Vacuum. A vacuum is a more precise version of nothing created by removing almost all matter from a space. Scientists use vacuum chambers to study how objects behave without air or pressure. Space beyond Earth's atmosphere is often described as a vacuum because it contains extremely few particles. However, even in deep space, there are still scattered atoms and radiation moving through the universe. A vacuum, therefore, represents a space that is nearly empty, rather than completely devoid of everything. Perfect vacuum. A perfect vacuum is a theoretical idea where absolutely nothing exists in a region of a space. No atoms, no particles, and no radiation would be present at all. According to modern physics, creating a perfect vacuum may be impossible because even the emptiest regions still contain tiny fluctuations of energy. The idea remains useful for scientists because it provides a reference point when studying matter, energy, and the limits of emptiness. Zero is a mathematical form of nothing. It represents the absence of quantity rather than the absence of space or matter. Ancient civilizations used numbers for counting, but the concept of zero developed much later as a symbol showing that nothing was present in a place value. This idea became essential for mathematics, science, and technology. Without zero, modern calculations and digital systems would not function in the same way. Null. Null is a form of nothing used in computing and logic. It does not mean zero or empty space, but instead represents the absence of a value. When a computer program expects information but receives none, it may assign a null value to show that nothing has been provided yet. This type of nothing is important for organizing data and preventing errors in digital systems. Darkness. Darkness can be thought of as the absence of light. When the light sources disappear or are blocked, the environment becomes dark. In everyday experience, darkness feels like a kind of nothing because our eyes cannot detect objects without light reflecting from them. However, the space itself still exists, and objects are still present even if they cannot be seen. Silence. Silence represents the absence of sound. In quiet environments, there are no vibrations traveling through the air or strong enough for human ears to detect. Yet complete silence is rare. Even in quiet rooms, there are subtle sounds from air movement, distant activity, or the body itself. Silence therefore describes a situation where sound is extremely limited rather than completely non-existent. Quantum vacuum. The quantum vacuum is a modern physics concept describing the lowest possible energy state of empty space. According to quantum theory, space can never remain perfectly as still. Tiny fluctuations of energy constantly appear and disappear at extremely small scales. These temporary events mean that even the emptiest parts of the universe are active beneath the surface, filled with brief changes that happen too quickly to observe directly. Nothingness. Nothingness is the philosophical idea of absolute absence. It refers to a state where no matter, energy, space, time, or concepts exist at all. Philosophers have debated this idea for centuries while trying to understand the nature of existence itself. Some argue that true nothingness cannot exist because the moment it is described or imagined, it becomes something within thought. the concept remains one of the most puzzling ideas in human reasoning. Oblivion. Oblivion describes a state where existence or awareness disappears entirely. In literature and philosophy, it is often used to describe the ultimate form of nothing, where memory, matter, and consciousness all fade away. While the term is usually symbolic rather than scientific, it reflects humanity's attempt to understand what complete absence might mean beyond the physical world.